morning. My name is Megan Edwards of Focus Communications, and today we're getting a company introduction to Rackla Metals, which trades on the TSX.V under the symbol RAK. And joining me is Rackla CEO and Director Simon Ridgway. Simon, thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for the invite, Megan. Pleased to be here.
So Rackla has been very busy acquiring projects over the last few months. For those new to the story, could you introduce us to the company and your projects along the Tombstone Gold Belt?
Yeah, Rackla's it's a fairly new company. It's been in the Yukon for a couple of years, but it's been fairly quiet until last summer. I watched the results that we've been put out by Snowline in the Yukon, in the eastern Yukon, along the Tombstone Belt. The Yukon Territory is well known as is Alaska for this belt of intrusive rocks that cuts all the way across the territory, where it's got some very significant gold deposits, very large gold deposits, such as Fort Knox with 11 million ounces and the Ormac with 4 million ounces, Eagle Mine with 3.5 million ounces. These are all intrusive hosted gold deposits that are basically associated with the belt. The belt you can see cutting all the way across Yukon, that yellow stripe we've got there. So Snowline on the eastern side of that belt was putting out some phenomenal results last summer. And to me, it indicated that the belt was extending to the eastern part of the territory, and two, that this was going to be a pretty major discovery. So I started doing a little research on the belt, and pretty obviously, when the belt goes into the Northwest Territories, a lot of the ground was open, and there were some significant anomalies there that were available. So I got into the territory and acquired them.
Right. And the district has gained a lot of attention from the recent success of Snowline, but it's also host to a number of gold and silver deposits. What attracted you to this specific region along the belt?
Well, for the most part, historically, the western side of the Yukon Territory and Alaska, where these large deposits occur. And, rumor had it, or papers had it, that on the eastern side of the Yukon, these intrusives became more tungsten rich and gold poor. But Snowline's discovery showed that that wasn't always the case. So I knew that a lot of the work had been done in the western Yukon on these intrusives, and much less in the Northwest Territories. So that's why I went into that area and did the research. And, the Yukon, like most of Canada, there's a huge amount of data available. It is just a phenomenal place to explore, because you've got all that history is there for you to look at. So doing the research, I noticed that there was a lot of these intrusives in the Northwest Territories that had very strong gold bismuth anomalies, which is the signature for these large gold deposits. So that's the ground that I picked up.
Now, Astro is your most advanced project, which I gather would be the focus for 2023 exploration program. Can you run us through the various targets and historical work completed throughout the project area?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let me just step onto the slide. So here's where Snowline's discovery is. And actually, they got a couple of discoveries in there. We're about 100 kilometers as the crow flies to the southeast of that, just across the border in the Northwest Territories. As I began to do the research, I noticed a project called Astro. The project was discovered, we just slide to it, Newmont in 2017 with a joint venture with a company called Everin at the time. They did a big, huge sediment survey. They covered about 250 kilometers north-south, right along the border of the Yukon and Northwest Territories. That survey, the very southern end of the survey, you can see on the slide on the left-hand side, at the very southern end, they got a very strong anomaly. It stood out like a Christmas tree. I mean, way stronger than anything else I identified. And when they closed in on that and did a lot more of the work on the stream sediment work, it seemed that all the creeks draining that intrusive, which is called the Astro, was getting very good gold bismuth numbers. Newmont worked on it, but they worked mostly on the sediments. Their focus was looking for the Carlin-style mineralization in the sedimentary rocks. But it seemed, for me, it was pretty obvious that the gold was coming from the intrusive bodies, because it's got that signature. So here's the work that Newmont and Everin did. They did a huge soil survey, identifying about a 15-kilometer long gold anomaly, all associated with the streams draining from the intrusive. They had some great results. Trenches running 30 meters at 17 grams. 18 meters of 3.8 grams. I mean, the Astro target, the radio target, the gamma target, they all come up with these very strong gold in the sediments. And that's what they were targeting. But when they drilled, they missed. I put only 9 holes in, and the only anomalies they got were when they cut through the sediments into the intrusive rocks. In 2019, Newmont did a huge merger with Goldcorp, so they let this property fall off, and it went back to Evrim. Newmont kept a royalty on it, and I acquired it from Evrim, which Evrim changed its strategy to be a royalty company. So I picked up the property from Evrim. These targets are drill ready. I mean, they did all the work that's necessary to identify the structures that are carrying the gold, and they didn't drill them. So we'll be in there this year. This will be the main focus of the company. We'll be drilling these targets, the radio, the gamma, the microwave, where we had these results of, or they had the results of, 30 meters of over half an ounce gold. So significant intercepts. And this is where they're drilled. So you can see that they drill vertical holes. And when you got these sheetish veins, it's really not the best way to test them. But they had no anomalies until they cut through the sediments into the intrusive on that little slide at the base. That pink rock is the intrusive rocks sitting underneath these sediments where they got the high results from. So, vertical holes, reverse circ, they kind of did everything wrong, in my opinion, to make this discovery. Luckily, I think it's been left for us. And that the other 2 targets we picked up that are close to the Astro are the HIT and the SER properties. Again, very strong geochemistry identified by the people that had them. This was a different group that had those properties. These are in the Yukon territory, just across the border. Very strong geochemistry draining the intrusives and no work done in it. So, this is quite a gift for the company to be able to acquire these projects for the price we got them at this time, after there's been a huge discovery in the region.
And could you give us an overview of Rackla's capital structure? As I know you're a significant shareholder, and the company has recently completed a private placement.
Yeah, we just finished raising. Presently we have 4.5 million in the treasury, and there is 58 million shares out. Insiders and close associates own between 45 and 55%. And the rest is from this financing, people that believe in the targets we've picked up. So it's fairly tightly held company. We've got a presently trading in the range of 35 cents. And like I said, 4.5 million cash, which will get us through the drill target. I mean, we'll be drilling by June of this year. The snow will be gone by the end of May. We'll be in there drilling.
Any final thoughts you'd like to leave for our listeners about Rackla and what the investment community can look forward to from the company this year?
Well, I think just the drilling from the Astro and on the other targets we have. We picked up quite a belt of these intrusives, so we're going to have quite a large camp with a lot of geos working. What you need to get is boots on the ground. I mean, these intrusive bodies have not been prospected. The work has been done in the sediments. We need to get through to get boots on the ground and make the discoveries. Mm-hmm. This is elephant country, and we're looking for very, very significant gold deposits here. So we need quite a team of geos to do that.
All right. Once again, we want to thank you for coming on the show today, Simon, and we'll be keeping a close eye on your developments in the Yukon and Northwest Territories and look forward to having you back on to provide additional updates soon.
Love to come back, Megan. Talk to you in the spring.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.